reactions of other people, that snakes are something to be very, I mean, it's biblical. I mean, it's, the hatred of snakes goes back to that. Very much culturally ingrained. And so, you know, no matter what kind of truth you give people, listen, but, and of course, the media also reinforces and exploits those fears and makes their jobs harder. So, the two snakes that I had to do the most work with, the milk snake, the eastern milk snake, which is arguably our most beautiful snake. Constrictor does not drink milk from cows, is the old folklore said. They're great mousers to have in the barn, however, and beautiful. And unfortunately, they look, you know, people see this and they often vibrate their tail. They don't have rattles, but that gets them killed. And it's a darn shame. Trying to convince people that no, these are not copperheads. Copperheads are not found this far north in Ohio. They are not rattlesnakes. And the other one is the northern water snake, which is very common. But with a thick body like this, they do superficially resemble the water moccasin, aka cottonmouth of the deep south. Deep south. Well, when people see this, you know, all sense of geography goes out the window, and it's it's a water moccasin, you know. So, but the question then invariably comes up is like, well, do we have any venomous snakes here in Geauga County? And my answer is, well, there used to be. There are pioneer accounts in the early Geauga's pioneer history of 6-foot-long rattlesnakes being encountered in the rock ledges around. And of course, the pioneers really waged war on them, and so they're long gone from here. In fact, they're endangered in Ohio with only a very few small scattered populations in the very southern part of the state. But we have them here. And the other venomous snake that we once had and was wiped out was the Massasauga rattlesnake, or swamp rattlesnake. They're still found in the Grand River lowlands of northern Trumbull and Ashtabula County, where there's some populations that are protected by lands of the Nature Conservancy or the Western Reserve Land Conservancy. So they're endangered. They're very small. They're very shy, retiring, seldom encountered. A lot of stories of farmers when they were haying out there in those areas that they would find them when they picked up the bales. You know, that's where the mice congregate. I guess attracted the snakes to it. But I never heard anybody got bit. So, they'll people tell me, oh yeah, oh my gosh. But people will tell you. So, out of admiration and, I mean, let's face it, these rattlesnakes, I mean, it's like, yeah, they're badass, but they're so, they're cool, they really are. And they're part of our wildlife heritage, something we want to try and hang on to. So inspired by that, I wrote this next song. Spend all winter in a crawdad hole. Long comes spring, I'm ready to roll. Swamp rat living in a muddy bog. My name is Massasauga, to the Massasauga Blues. To the Massasauga Blues. Shake your hips like a big earthquake. Shake your tail like a big rattlesnake. Telling not to mess with me, you don't round me up, just let me be. I'm strike, you never tell. I got a bite that hurts like hell. To the Massasauga Boogie, to the Massasauga Boogie. Shake your hips like a big earthquake. Shake your tail like a big rattlesnake. about evening, about sundown, roll on down to old Swamp Town. Meet up with the marsh hawk and me. We're gonna hunt us some mice too. And do the Massasauga boogie. Do the Massasauga boogie. Shake your hips like a big earthquake. Shake your tail like a big rattlesnake. Tell you people not to mess with me. Don't round me up, just let me be. I might strike you, never can tell. I got a bite that hurts like hell. Do the Massasauga boogie. Do the Massasauga boogie. Shake your hips like a big earthquake. Shake your tail like a big rattlesnake. I say shake your hips like a big earthquake. Shake your tail like a big rattlesnake. Well, yes, encounters with wildlife. Sometimes we would get the call. We are not, Geauga Park District never had a wildlife rehab center. We depended on where we could help with the Lake Metro Parks Penitentiary Glens Kevin P. Clinton Wildlife Center. And we would act as intermediaries if we had a bird, prey, or some other kind of animal that we could transport there. And one time, very early, this goes back to about early 1994, and if anybody's ever had the experience of a hummingbird getting in their garage, you know, or been in a big box store, you see birds flying out, is that birds don't have any sense about being, they'll go for the light, they'll go for the windows, but they don't have no sense about flying down and out. So at Chardon Plaza, the store that's now Mark's, that used to be a grocery store, they had an overhanging canopy that you drive up under to load your groceries, and there was kind of a recessed, walled-in area up high under the roof, and we got the call. There's this hawk there, and so I grabbed a butterfly net, and when I got there, I realized, okay. So I went home and got a long pole and attached the butterfly net to it, and managed to catch this, a little sharp-shinned hawk. It's a young bird. And again, all I had to do was just fly down a little bit now, but no, you don't get that. So so I caught it, and I thought, well, I'm going to show my girls at home. They're really young. There's Emma's about, going on 4, and Kate is about, 1.5. And so in my haste to get on the scene, I didn't bring anything to put the hawk in. So I took off my park coat, and I'll put it down in the sleeve of my coat. I mean, it's dark, it's restrained, that's the way to do it. So I brought it home, took it out, showed the girls, and let it go in the backyard. I mean, you liberate a shark in here too, so it was on its way. Now, who would know that 21 years later, we would have a Cooper's hawk in our carriage house or carriage barn of a garage that we have. Again, door's wide open, it's flying at the window. So Kate calls me up and I says, well, get the landing net, and they caught it. So Nancy here, my wife, and Kate had to get the hawk out of the net. Getting in the net was the easy part. Boy, those meat hooks of talons there, had to negotiate those. How did those feel, Nancy? Just, now they're sharp, yeah. So, now the other thing that I'm not sure everybody knows, but among the water birds or waterfowl that visit us in migration are common loons. The loons, the great iconic bird of the North Country lakes. Yeah, they come through here on their migration between the north and the Gulf Coast or Atlantic Coast where they winter. And they'll stop by and sometimes linger for a while on our local inland lakes here, our park lakes. Ladue, Bass Lake, Lake Kelso, East Branch Reservoir, Headwaters Park, etc. And provide us, sometimes they'll stay a while. I mean, the fishing's good and they'll rest and make a, wonderful, very relaxing to watch them. and or count, or watch your, time how long those dives are. Wow. Now 2 years ago, on Bass Lake, we had what was called the fallout. The weather had turned, where there was a flight of loons apparently going over, and the weather turned bad. I mean, it would turn, temperature drop, rain turned to sleet,